So we will continue with our discussion. In this class, we will see about the remuneration system and incentive schemes of the labor cost. So let us begin our discussion. See, this all we have understood that labor is one of the most important factors of production. Both direct and indirect labors are employed in industrial concern. Okay, so we have seen the distinction between the direct labor and indirect labor, etc. Now, what are the factors affecting wages? Okay, how an organization decides how much to pay to the employee? Okay, what are the factors? What all will decide how much is paid to an employee of an organization? First main factor is supply and demand. Very important because supply and demand plays an important role in price determination. So you have also learned in economics that supply and demand will have an important role in price determination of anything. Okay. Similarly, supply and demand of labor will also have an impact on the wages. Okay. As stated above, wage is the price paid to the workers for their services. So what is wage? You are paying the price to your workers for service they are giving to your organization. Correct. So you will employ the workers, they will give service to you, and you will pay. That is the price which is paid to the workers. For what purpose you are paying? For services. Okay. So it is basically true that wage paid to workers will be determined by demand and supply in the employment market. Okay. So this is one of the factors, but it may not be rather possible to draw a supply and demand curve for each job in the organization. Okay. It is not possible to exactly determine the demand and supply curve of each job in the organization. Okay. So what is the wage? Wage is the price which you are paying to your employees, workers for their services. Okay. So demand and supply is one of the factor, but there are other factors also. Main important factors are existing wages. So you will have to see what is the wage prevailing in your particular industry. Okay. Suppose you are having a textile industry. So you will have to check what is the wage applicable in the textile industry. How much amount other companies are paying. Based on that, you will decide your wage because it should be at an industry average only. You cannot keep below the industry average. Okay, you will have to see how much wage other companies in textile industry are paying. Okay, this can be the one of the factor. Then another is the legal provisions. So in India, there are various acts like Factory Act is there. Okay, Payment of Minimum Wages Act, Payment of Wages Act, etc. Okay, there are various welfare provisions, you can say, beneficial to the workers. So you will have to take care of the legal provisions also before determining the wage. Okay, what government says, how much you should pay, that you should take care. And another important is that ability to pay. Okay, you should see your own position also, how much you will be able to pay. So these are some of the factors which will determine the wage of an worker in organization. Another factors are labor unions. We have understood that if labor union is strong, wage level will be high. and if wage workers are not strong, union is not strong, then wage will be less. Okay, this can be the another factor. Then cost of living. Okay, suppose if you will take an example of Mumbai and some interior area. In Mumbai, wage will be high because cost of living is more. Okay, because of inflation factors, etc. Okay, so you cannot compare an organization in Mumbai and some interior areas, rural areas. Their wage will be less because their cost of living is less. Here in Mumbai, Bombay, wages will be high because cost of living is more in Bombay compared to interior areas. So that will also be one of the factors which will determine the wage. Another is the productivity. Okay, productivity means how much units is produced by the workers. Based on that, wages can be determined. Okay, it is true to large extent that there is a positive correlation between wages and productivity. Okay, high wages can lead to high productivity. So if you are paying your workers very good amount, then it will lead to high productivity. More units will be produced by a particular worker. Okay, so this can be one of the factors. So high wages will lead to high productivity. Okay, so these are all some of the factors. What is that? Industry wage? What is the rate prevailing in the particular industry? Legal provisions you have to take consideration. You have to see your own ability to pay. Labor unions play an important role in determining the wages, then productivity, cost of living. So these are all factors of the affecting wages. Now, if you will pay attractive wages, good wages, what will be the benefit? You will get competent staff and you will able to retain them. Okay, and reduce the labor turnover and increase the productivity. So these are the benefits of paying attractive wages. You will get good staff, you can retain them, you can reduce the labor turnover. Labor turnover means frequently laborers are leaving your organization. Okay, frequently laborers are leaving your organization, and you can also increase the productivity of the employees. So these can be the benefits of paying good wages to the workers. Okay, first important is that good staff will come to your organization, competent staff. You can retain them, you can reduce the labor turnover, and you can increase the productivity. Now, what is the element of wages? How your monthly pay will be determined? One will be the basic pay, which is the minimum amount, you can say, which will be paid. That is known as basic amount, basic pay. In basic pay, various benefits will be added, like dearness allowances will be added, HRA will be added. Okay, depending upon organization to organization, different benefits will be added. Normally, there will be DA and HRA, and there will be traveling allowance. Okay, some organization may give overtime allowance also. Okay, so this will depend upon organization to organization. Okay, so one will be basic pay. In that, there will be various other benefits which will be added. Okay, we cannot say that all the benefits will be given by all the companies, but some organization will give some benefit, other may give some benefit. Okay. See, DA means dearness allowance. DA means dearness allowance, means it is basically given to compensate the increase in price. Okay. Because we know that inflation affects all the people. Okay. Suppose basic pay is there. Let us say 25,000 is the basic pay. Now, what will happen? This 25,000 is the basic pay. In that, there will be various other allowance allowed. Like DA will be there. It will be 10% of the basic, etc. Let us say. So 2,500 will be given as a DA. Okay. Now this DA will go on increasing every year. Okay. Depending upon the inflation situation, this DA will go on increasing. This is given to compensate the increase in price. Okay, we know that article which you can get for 100 rupees today, it will cost 110 next year. Price go on increasing. So your salary should also go on increasing, no? So for that you will get the dearness allowance. Okay. In addition, you will get the increments also. Okay. Then some organization will give medical allowance also to employee. Then bonus is given once in a year, especially in India. It is given at the time of festivals. Okay. So all this will add up to your total wage. Then some organization will give transport facilities, canteen facilities, medical facilities will be given. Okay. Then some companies will give educational facilities to the children of the employees. Okay. And some companies educate their employees also. Okay. For higher education, some companies send their employees to foreign countries, or they can give education facilities in India also. So all these benefits, like some companies give accommodation facilities. So what we can say, your total wage, monthly wage will be total of all these things. Basic pay will be there, which is the minimum component. In that, all these benefits will be added. Okay, now it will depend upon company to company, which benefits they are giving. Because every company will not give all the benefits. Okay, it will depend upon company to company. Normally, basic pay and dearness allowance will be there. Okay, this is fixed. Okay. So leave salary means there are particular number of days of leave allowed to an employee. Means, let us understand, other than Sundays and other public holidays, you can take leave for which you will be paid. That is known as leave salary. Okay. Normally, companies give 30 days leave, which is known as paid leaves. Okay. So 30 days leave you can take, and you will get payment for this. Okay. Normally, what will happen? Sundays will be a holiday, public holidays will be a holiday, and you will get 8 casual leaves. And in addition to that, you will get 30 earned leaves. Okay. These both are in addition to the Sundays and public holiday. Okay. So if you will take a 30 days leave, you will get payment for that. So you need not work on that day. But you will get payment for that. If you're taking leave, now what will happen? Suppose you don't want to take leave in a particular year. So what will happen? This 30 will get carried forward and it will be added to the next year's leave. So next year, what will happen? Next year, you will again get 30 earned leaves. In that, your previous balance will be added. Understood? So like that, you can accumulate this paid leave. Understood? So every year, you will get 30 days earned leave. So you can go on accumulating these leaves. Okay. Now, when you are retiring, whatever balance is available no, in earned leaves, you will get the amount for that. That is known as leave salary. Okay. Now this 8-day casual leave is there. You cannot accumulate this. If you are not taking this, it will be lapsed. It cannot accumulate. Only earned leaves you can accumulate. Up to 300 leaves you can accumulate. Okay. So if you are having 300 leaves balance, you can take payment for this at the time of retirement. So this is a leave salary, or other way can be every year you are taking 30 days leave, you will get a regular salary for that 30 days, even if you are not working. This is known as leave salary or paid leaves or earned leaves. Clear? See how your pay slip will be looking like. Basic pay will be there, HRA, DRA, etc. will be there. Overtime allowance will be there. Okay. Other allowance if companies are giving, that will be there. All this will add to your gross pay. Okay. In that, PF will be deducted. And if you're a factory employee, then ESI contribution will be deducted. Then you will get the net wage. This you can call it as take home pay also. Okay. Suppose if your basic is 25,000 and DA you are getting 5,000. Okay. Traveling allowance you are getting 2,000. Okay. Then bonus you got 3,000, let us assume. Bonus will be once in a year only. So if you will add, total will be your total pay. That is 25,000 plus 5,000, 30, 30 plus 5, 35,000. This will be your particular month's salary. In this, PF will be deducted, let us say 20,000, 2,000. So you will get 33,000 in your hand. This is known as net pay or take home pay. So this amount will be credited to your bank account, and this 2,000 will be credited to your PF account. Okay. So this you can withdraw whenever need arises, or at the time of retirement, you will get the PF amount back. So this is how your pay slip or statement of wage or earnings, we can say. First method is the time rate method. Okay, it is simple. Time rate method is the actual time an employee is working in your company into the rate for that time. Okay, suppose a worker is working for 8 hours per day, and you have decided that per hour you will pay him 100 rupees. So what will be the particular day's wage? 800 rupees. So this is the time rate. Okay, you have to see how much hour or day a worker is working in your company and what is the amount for that time. Okay, so if you are decided hourly rate, you will multiply it by hours. Okay, like that. 8 hours if a worker is working and your company policy is to pay rupees 100 per hour. Okay, so each worker will get how much? 800 rupees. Okay, or you can say if a worker is working for 25 days in a week, in a month, and per day you will pay him 1000 rupees. So what will be the amount he will get? 25,000. Okay, like that you can calculate the amount of wages. This is known as time rate wages, time rate method. Okay, now there are two methods for labor remuneration, that is the time rate system and the piece rate system. Time rate system, we have understood that you will fix a remuneration for a particular time. Okay, and you will decide the total wage based on that remuneration fixed for the particular time. Okay, for example, per hour 100 rupees you will pay. If an employee is worker is working for 8 hours, you will say 800 rupees per day. Okay, so this is the first system. Second system is the piece rate method. Okay, so piece rate system, what is a piece rate system, how it is different from the time rate system, etc., all we will understand in the next class. So for today we are stopping in the next class. So we will discuss in detail about piece rate method in the next class. Okay, we will understand in detail what is a piece rate system, what is the difference between a time rate and piece rate, etc. Okay, so for today we are stopping here. Further we will continue in the next class.